We're now joined by State Senator Edward Durr from the 3rd Legislative District. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
We'll let everyone know that Senator, your district is in the southernmost part of the state, correct?
The southern western part. I have parts of Gloucester County, all of Salem County, and parts of Cumberland County.
And Senator Durr was not a senator when he beat the president of the Senate, Steve Sweeney, a historic election, not just in New Jersey, but across this country, and for a lot of reasons. Senator, there's a whole range of issues I want to talk to you about. But the first thing is I just want to get a couple of things. I don't even want to say out of the way because they are so important. We do a series called Democracy at a Crossroads. The graphic will be up right now. Election denying or deniers are a big part of this conversation. Election security, integrity is important. Question, do you believe that the 2020 election that former President Trump says was stolen was, quote, stolen?
I don't look at, first off, I'm a person who always looks forward. So what took place in 2020 doesn't matter to today because you can't change it. For me, it doesn't because I do believe that there was election laws that were changed throughout certain states like Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, that weren't done properly by the legislature. I think that is something that needs to be addressed. It doesn't really matter because on January 20th, Joe Biden was sworn in as the president, and that is all that matters. He is our president. He's my president. He's your president. And what President Trump wants to claim or doesn't claim, that doesn't matter for today because I'm moving forward. I agree with election integrity. I do believe there should be voter ID.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. That's an important point, Senator. But I want to be clear, there are some who may disagree that the history does matter. Looking backwards to learn to move forward is important, particularly for our representative democracy. That being said, Senator, you said in the past that January 6th, which some would argue is an important date in history, was, quote, not an insurrection, but an unauthorized entry by undocumented federal employers. Since then, that social media comment was taken down. Do you believe January 6th, and some will argue it does matter, do you believe January 6th was in fact a violent insurrection to try to overthrow and stop?
No, I do not believe it was a violent insurrection. I believe it was a group of people that got out of hand and violated the law. I disagree with any of the people who entered the White House or, the Capitol building. I don't agree that that should have taken place. Should they have had the right to protest? Absolutely. That's what our country is founded on, and we guarantee the right of protest. But what they did by entering the Capitol, no, that was absolutely wrong. Was it a violent insurrection? No,
it was not.
The only armed person was the officer who shot an unarmed woman. That was the only person who was armed with a firearm. There was no individuals in that crowd that I know of that you can correct me if you can prove, but what I have seen of evidence, nobody was carrying firearms to the White House. That is, to me, would be a violent insurrection.
So listen, Senator, as you just described, it was no violence. Guns are a weapon.
No, I didn't say there was no violence. You said was it a violent insurrection? I don't believe it was an insurrection.
Were police officers, the Capitol Police, were they beaten and attacked by many of the protesters who were there that day?
I wouldn't say many. I would say there's probably incidents that took place. Absolutely. When you say many, that is saying a majority. I wouldn't say many. I would say that there was individuals that absolutely were wrong and violated the law. Sure. And they should be prosecuted.
Were they do you believe that a significant number of those who were there protesting on January 6th were there to, quote, stop the election process, which is many of them stated, to stop the election process and to deny the election moving forward for Joe Biden to become president? Do you believe that?
I can't speak. I think they were voicing their anger with the election process that took place. And as far as what their purpose and goal was, I can't speak for their mind. I wasn't there. Didn't take part in it. I didn't talk to the individual, so I can't.
You would
speak
not
for
have been
them.
there, Senator. You would not have been there.
No, I would not have been
Got
there.
it. Senator, do this for us. You've talked about critical race theory, and you've introduced legislation to what? Ban the teaching of critical race theory? And if not, help us understand what your legislation is, sir.
I think that any teachings that is saying that, one race is inferior or wrong or evil is wrong to be teaching that upon children. And that's what critical race theory does. It makes white people out to be evil. I don't believe that white people, is there evil white people? Absolutely. Is there evil in all races? Absolutely. But to teach one race is evil? No, that is wrong.
Do you believe that there is, in fact, today, structural and persistent racism in our state and our society?
No. Is there racism? Yes. Is it systemic? No.
What's the difference?
Well, that would be, as you said, structural. You would have to show me where, like back in the past when there was, a structural where they were deliberately preventing, Black families from, renting in certain communities or something.
Redlining.
Or buying homes.
Redlining.
Yes. That was absolutely. Does that take place today? I don't see it. I'd be happy if you can show it to me. I will be the first one to fight it because I don't believe that there should be racism. I don't believe there should be discrimination.
So I just want to be clear on this. So you believe that creating greater public awareness for our students, for our public school students, about the history of racism in our country is, in fact, not the role of public education?
No, that's not what I said. I have not said that there absolutely should be an awareness, but to teach, to force one narrative is wrong.
What's the one narrative?
That white people are evil and they're the cause of all problems.
I want to be clear. You are stating that you believe that critical race theory states that, quote, all white people are bad.
What I have read of it, yes.
Okay.
That it slants it.
Okay, folks, let's make sure we put up the Department of Education website so that people can understand exactly what critical race theory is and is not. Senator, let me ask you this. Your top two legislative priorities in the Senate are?
I think my top two right now would probably be medical freedom, health choices. And I really have been fighting for, as far as it's hard to say two because
What's the Billy Cray bill? I'm sorry for interrupting, Senator. What's the Billy Cray bill? I apologize.
Billy Cray is a special needs individual who was, found dead in his closet. Nobody can tell me how it took place. He was beaten severely. He was found dead in his closet back in 2017. He was in a group home. And the Billy Cray bill, what it advocates is for electronic monitoring, video cameras in common areas, which we already have in many places. So I don't see the problem with this. And it allows for, if the guardian wants it in the room, to have it installed in the room. It seems like I have bipartisan support on both sides. I have the votes. I just can't get the bill moved in the committee.
And P.S., what committee is that in, Senator?
Health Committee.
That is chaired by Senator Joseph Vitale.
Yes.
Senator Durr, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We wish you, your family, and all of your constituents in the 3rd District the best. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving, too.
You guys were taping right before Thanksgiving. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, IBEW Local 102, Holy Name, Operating Engineers Local 825, New Brunswick Development Corporation, TD Bank, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State. And by Employers Association of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by bestofnj.com and by northjersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
Hello, I'm Dr. Luke Ironman, a family medicine specialist at Holy Name. When was your last visit to your primary care doctor? Throughout the pandemic, many patients have put off their annual physicals and screenings, but preventative healthcare is critical for early detection of illnesses and to avoid future health problems. Your doctor can also help you develop a wellness plan to achieve your personal health goals. Your health can't wait. Be proactive and talk to your primary care doctor today about scheduling your annual physical.